Hey, want to skip those ads and get early access and bonus episodes of all Banana for Scale shows? Hop on over to truestory.fm/join and discover all the cool perks that come with being a member of the Banana for Scale family. Coming up on The Devil's Details, cats and dogs living together, Catholic mass hysteria. The Chronicle of Young Satan, Chapter 3. Good morning, Star, and welcome to another episode of The Devil's Details, a show where we dig up, decipher, dissect, and deconstruct the many forms of the devil. One of my names is Lester Ryan Clark.
And I sometimes go by Keenan Diaz.
And we're just two lost souls hitchhiking down the highway to hell. And welcome back, folks. We are in Chapter 3 of the Chronicle of Young Satan.
We're in a town in Austria in, the 17th century?
Yeah, I believe
1700s, so. 17th century, yeah. And everything goes just okay. There's a priest in town, Father Peter. Everybody loves him. But he's been defrocked because he wants to be too nice to people, if I'm understanding correctly.
Yeah.
Father Adolf, who is not that Adolf, but a different Adolf.
Yes.
He wants to be mean, like the church requires. And so he's kind of taken over the Catholic infrastructure in the town.
And he's popular because apparently he has met and fought the devil.
Oh, that's right. Yes, in a fit of drunken rage. Yes. And we have our three boys, and they're kind of who we're learning the story through. We can't really tell them apart from each other.
Right. Mostly we know Theodore or Theodore is the narrator, and he has two friends, Seppi and
Nicholas.
And Nicolaus, yeah.
Yes. And they have some sympathy towards Father Peter and his niece Margaret, who has become his kind of ward. But they don't have any money because he got defrocked, he got fired. And one day a young cool kid comes, he's maybe a couple years older than them, and all the boys look up to him, they're like, "This is the coolest cat ever," and they ask him, "Who the hell are you?" And he's like, "I'm Satan." Not that Satan. I'm Satan's nephew.
Yes.
Also named Satan.
Also named Satan.
But you can call me Philip Dream. Philip Traum.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the other townspeople will call me Philip Traum. You can know my name, but like you won't be able to tell anybody.
Right. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. Fucking kill you. No. He doesn't say that. He says like you won't be able to tell anybody. And when they try, they've tried several times to explain. It's like, oh, it was Satan who did this thing or whatever. And they can't.
And he doesn't seem cruel like you might think of Satan. He doesn't seem to care about like the hierarchy of the other angels. He says he is an angel, but he just seems kind of removed from humanity's plight, and he treats humanity as this lower race of people with their strange feelings and stuff like that. And he treats
like
them
bugs.
as like bugs, or like the clay people that he makes with Theodore and his friends,
right? Yeah.
And then destroys, like in our claymation movie by Worthington.
Right. Yeah. That was when clay people were clay people. Yeah.
Oh, but then I guess we can talk about what happens to Father Peter at the end of Chapter 2 as we go through here, I suppose.
Yeah. So at the end of Chapter 2, Satan left the boys, and like in his place is Father Peter's wallet, mysteriously now filled with gold ducats. And Father Peter comes along and he finds it, and like to everybody's credit, everybody is like completely honest about this. Like Father Peter's like, this isn't my money. Like I shouldn't take this. But the boys are like, no, you like. They can honestly say it doesn't belong to anybody. They can't tell them that Satan left it, but they can say it's like no human being did this. This is like you. This is yours. You can take it.
Right.
And that's the end of the chapter.
He has taken it. He's taken just what he needs to pay the mortgage, so he and his niece Margaret don't get kicked out.
Right.
And he puts the rest in an account, an interest-bearing account, and he writes at the bank and tells everybody like, "This is not my money, and I will pay you back when you come to claim the money."
Yeah. Goes to great pains to like express that.
Yeah. And I said, well, geez, I don't see the moral quandary at all. This seems like he did everything right, and what could possibly go wrong? And then I remembered people in small towns talking shit.
Yeah. That is the nature of small towns. Right. And I
talking shit about shit they don't know about.
Yep. Yeah. And I had said at the end of the last chapter that it reminded me of, Old Scratch rolling into to town in All That Money Can Buy, or The Devil and Daniel Webster, right? And just like finding and helping people discover that Hessian gold and all the trouble that creates. And you, if I remember correctly, you were a little bit suspicious of our young Satan here and his plan for Father Peter.
He's Satan.
Yep.
He's a Satan.
It's in the name. Yeah. But yeah, let's get into chapter 3 here.
Great.
So this discovery of the money makes a big to-do in the town the next day. Father Peter pays off Solomon Isaacs, remember that, folks, Solomon Isaacs, in gold, and then leaves the rest of the money with him in interest, like Keenan said. That also made me think of all that money can buy when Jabez pays Miser Peabody, right?
Miser
Peabody, the moth.
No, that's not right. It's Stevens.
Oh, Miser Steve. I'm thinking Peabody from The Devil and Tom Walker. That's Mr. Peabody's tree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Don't cut that down.
I forgot about that completely.
I keep on saying Peabody. I don't know why. Yeah, Miser Stevens. Yeah.
Should I say Peabody? That's better.
Sherman Peter. Yeah.
No. Mr. Peabody.
Quiet, you. But yeah, so no, it reminded me of, because you were like this is fuck you money, like just throwing it at him,
That's right.
But this is, Father Peter doesn't do that.
No.
But he does pay his mortgage, and then he it's like very, very publicly leaves it with Solomon Isaacs.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And really, he's doing it to save his ward, his niece.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she has plans and she has an education and stuff. And yeah, I imagine that he would be fine, going destitute or even leaving town if it weren't for the fact that he's taking care of this young lady.
Yeah. And suddenly everyone in town loves Father Peter again and his niece, and Margaret gets invited to a party.
Yay!
Yeah, right? And Father Peter's completely honest about it, right? He says he has no idea where the money came from, and it must be the hand of Providence, capital P Providence, right? But you got some villagers shaking their heads and saying it's more likely the hand of Satan.
I don't like them, but they're right.
Yeah, they are. They're absolutely they're right for the wrong reasons. Who said that? I forgot. Right. Yeah. But yeah, these villagers would also take the boys aside and try to get them to confess what really happened. But remember, right? Even if the boys wanted to, they couldn't. Right? Satan has stopped their tongues magically. Right.
Right.
And so now. Whenever they go down, out into the, the woods, all they do is hang out and talk about Satan and how great he is and how they miss him and they wish he'll be back soon, right? And they're always watching out for him, seeing if he's going to show up again.
It feels a little bit like they're expecting, well, if we talk about him enough back where we were before, he'll show up. Prayers,
like a conjuration,
and
thing.
Be there.
Yeah, they no longer want to hang out with the other boys because their games and adventures seem so paltry in comparison.
Right.
Yeah, apparently at first the boys were really worried about the money. They kept visiting Father Peter and checking in on the money to make sure that it didn't turn into dirt like fairy money. So that was part of the lore back then, right? At least in Twain's time, right? If you got money from fairies, it would eventually turn into dust or dirt or something like that, right? And again, I like that because that goes with the old stories about deals with the devil in comparison. The devil is honest and always keeps his part of the trade, right? I hate now how that has changed. Right? In modern retellings, right? It just, it makes so much sense the old way because you're selling your soul, right? He's perfectly happy to give you exactly what you ask for because he's getting your soul, right? The cheating in the recent stories, the Devil and Daniel Mouse, right? It's too much like what, the fairies do.
I see. I hadn't thought of that before. But you're right. That's exactly what they all are now. This is tainted in some way. It's going to fall apart.
It's a monkey's paw type thing.
Yeah. I guess it's needful things and stuff like that. It's all because I guess the devil as we have him originally is contented that you making the deal, he has your soul, but also you've already fallen, right? The fact that you've traded this, you've already fallen. He's won already. There's nothing. He doesn't need to kick you on the way down and take away your chocolate,
right?
Make
your new Ferrari or whatever, right?
Right.
But it's that's how it was with all the Faust stories that we read, right? It was and there Mephistopheles would go out of his way to hey, let's find somewhere fun. Let's fly to Spain or whatever,
right.
and let's play a joke on the emperor or whatever, Yeah. So yeah, I want to bring that back. I want to bring back because it just makes the bargain so much more scary because it's as much fun as you're having, it's oh yeah, this is all for my soul,
Well, it also makes it that hey, people could say, hey, don't trade with the devil because the stuff's going to turn out to be bad anyways. It's not going to be real. So what is the everyone knows that, right? Read the books, watch the movie. So why would you do this trade?
Right. So yeah, so it has to be different from the fairies. It has to be that whatever he gives you is the real deal. Because money and dirt are the same to him,
right?
So why not just give you actual money, Yeah. But yeah, the money stays money. And at one point, they asked Father Peter about a thing that Satan had mentioned to them, the moral sense. Remember,
yes, capital M, capital S in the book.
Exactly, yeah. And remember, Satan had talked about this with disdain. And so now the kids ask Father Peter, and he's a little shocked that they don't know what it is because it is, he says, God's greatest gift to mankind. It is the thing that separates them from the lowly beasts. It is the ability to discern right from wrong. Huh. So why would Satan feel like that's a bad thing or something disgusting? Right? We don't get an answer quite yet, but I like how Twain leaves that for us to chew on, Because it's like, hey, like I thought it was a bad thing. Like Satan was poo-pooing it, right? But yeah, so they leave Father Peter. They're on their way out of the house. They find Margaret is also in business again. She's teaching at the Spinet.
Right this very minute.
Because we need a little Christmas. Yeah. But no, I stepped on yours. You said right this minute.
We're going for the same thing.
Yeah. But yeah, they see that she's teaching a student who had abandoned her but has now come back. And apparently she's like from an influential family, so that should bring even more students, hopefully.
I'm sure we do something like this today because I don't want to be like, oh, back then there's just so much worse than we are. But like it is as if, I mean, the reason that they left is because they were poor.
Right.
So it is as if like they were afraid of catching poor from them.
Yeah.
And so now that they have the money and they can pay the mortgage, it's okay to be seen at the house again.
Right. Which is like completely counterintuitive. It's like that's when you need business the most.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, Margaret's apparently, I think we're reading the same thing, right? It's Margaret, right?
Margaret, yeah.
Margaret, yeah, okay. And yeah, Margaret has apparently got
I've been saying Margaret
just force of habit.
I guess so. Is that that's how you're bringing that up? So I'm saying it wrong.
Well, I wasn't trying to, I was now I sound passive aggressive. I don't know.
No, that's what you mean. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Margaret. Just say it a bunch and it'll make more sense.
Yeah. But yeah, Margaret apparently has a suitor.
Right.
This guy named Wilhelm Meidling, and he's idling. Did you do that on purpose, Twain? Wilhelm Meidling, yeah.
Yes, Wilhelm Meidling. I'll call him Billy Mid.
Yeah, there we go. Right. But yeah,
Wilhelm Meidling.
Wilhelm Meidling, yeah. Okay. But no, he's hanging outside Father Peter's house till Margaret is finished with. I said Margaret. Damn it. I was putting all the pesto on Meidling. But yeah, until she is finished with her lessons, so that he can take a walk along the river with her. Aw. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So hanging out outside the house, not creepily like Valentine. And that was his sister.
No, he seems like a nice guy. He seems respectable. But again, like apparently he's only started suiting her. Suitoring her?
Well, no, he's actually one of the people who didn't abandon her.
Oh, okay,
so he's stuck by her.
Aww.
Yeah, right. So that's how you know he's a good guy. Yeah.
Good.
He's also a lawyer. They mentioned that right here. Lawyer was a why? Why is that important? I don't know. But yeah, and then next we have a scene which is exactly the same in both the Twain and the Danica version. I'm going to talk about the Twain version first. So 4 days pass, and we get our other priest, Father Adolf. He was out of town for some reason. He was at the priory, like up the valley. But he heard the news, and so now he goes to the boys and he asks how many ducats were in that wallet. And the boys tell him, and he says that he lost that exact same amount right around that time. And immediately, before, do we believe him?
Well, no, he actually doesn't know how many ducats are in there because they say it is 1,107 ducats. And he's like, oh, I lost 1,106 ducats. And Seppi is like, no, 7. He's like, oh, yes. And he's like, oh, you said it wrong. And, and you boys need to stop mumbling, basically. And of course, it's 1,106 ducats. Yeah.
I don't know. I've read the whole story and I still don't know.
I think all that talk, because it is a couple pages worth of
confusing Seppi, the number,
not understanding what he's talking about. That Adolf's saying that the kids are saying it wrong. So I think that's supposed to tip our hands there.
That he's being dishonest. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah. So he says,
and they say, the boys say, like, well, we cannot say otherwise. You're a priest.
Right.
Basically, like, we will not fight you on this. So they even like say we must have misstated it. We must have said 1,106 because you're a priest and you would. It's impossible that you hear wrong.
Yeah, and also it's impossible for them to like actually tell him anyway.
Right.
Yeah. And so Father Adolf immediately gets Father Peter arrested, and the whole town starts buzzing again. Some say Father Peter would never do that. Others mention how unbelievable his story was anyway. They all shun Margaret again. And they turn on the boys as well. The whole town now thinks that they're like accomplices, and even their parents are like trying to get them to confess. And again, they try to tell about Satan, but they can't.
I like this idea that the parents are like, "Hey, tell us because you are being you're being pressured by the one priest, by Father Peter. Like, hey, we understand that's why you're lying, and it's okay if you tell us the truth, right? And for whatever reason they can't fathom that someone named Adolf would lie to them.
Right. Yeah. Nobody named Adolf could be an evil man.
No, but besides that joke, like they can't fathom that this priest is a liar.
Right.
They're assuming that the other priest is belittling them and bullying them and blackmailing them into silence, but it's actually Father Adolf.
Yeah. So that is the scene. In the Danica version, we once again meet the astrologer. I mentioned this guy before. Danica seems to have crossed out instances of Father Adolf and replaced them with this astrologer character. I have a guess why he's doing that, but I'm going to keep it until we get to a later chapter.
All right.
But the crazy thing is, this new addition of an astrologer who's like basically kind of like taking all of Father Adolf's scenes doesn't actually like completely replace Father Adolf, because in the fraud version of the book, Father Adolf is still there. And we have the whole story about how, he fought the devil and, threw a wine bottle at him and everything like that. And then they just stop talking about him, and like all of his scenes are replaced by the astrologer. But like doing and saying the exact same thing.
They just take out the parts where he's being a bad priest, or
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
I think for some reason, Danica, maybe Danica was like a little bit more religious or a different type of religious than Twain.
Right.
And he didn't like the idea of a bad priest. So he replaced it with this like wizard.
No, wizards, come on. They could be bad too.
Sure.
Yeah, bad wizards, good wizards, all sorts of neutral wizards mostly.
Yeah. Well, I think for certain types of Christians, any wizard is a bad wizard.
Okay.
But yeah, so I don't know why. But yeah, I'm gonna keep on updating you guys every time this astrologer shows up, who's not in the story. I don't know what's going on. No.
Is he dressed like a wizard? Like he
is literally like if you Google image the cover of The Mysterious Stranger, he's like on it. He's the main thing.
Okay.
I don't know
so he's
why
the
that
mysterious stranger.
I don't know why. Like that's he's on the cover of the fraud book that I bought, and I'm like, who is this guy? But yeah. So Father Peter's in jail. Luckily, Margaret's beau, like we said, Wilhelm Meidling, is a lawyer, and he is defending Father Peter. But he does tell the boys privately that it doesn't look good for them because everybody hates Father Peter and everybody loves Father Adolf for some fucking reason. And everybody abandoned Margaret again. She even gets uninvited to that party.
Right.
Like this little anonymous letter says, like, fuck you, don't come to the party.
Yeah, it's like slipped under the door. She probably thinks it's something nice. Yeah.
It's got a comedic beat to it, you know, because it's like tragedy happens and then also you're uninvited to the party. You know? I forgot to mention Father Peter has a housekeeper / nurse named Ursula.
Right.
This is what Twain says, quote, "Old Ursula, who was cook, chambermaid, housekeeper, laundress, and everything else for Father Peter, and had been Margaret's nurse in earlier years, said God would provide. But she said that from habit, for she was a good Catholic, and such speeches were slang of the trade. But she meant to help in the providing, to make sure, if she could find a way." So, interesting note, the Danica version replaces Catholic with Christian.
But that changes it entirely because she is from Bohemia, so she is not a Hussite, as we talked about. So this town in Austria is dealing with prejudice against Hussites and this Bohemian scourge that's coming across the border. Yeah. And so the whole point is that Ursula is a Catholic who has come there, and she's not an infiltrator. Yeah.
So again, fuck you, Danica.
And also, speaking about names like Adolf that you can't use anymore, you cannot name anyone Ursula ever again.
I mean, that's, she's... But you would agree that this Ursula is a poor, unfortunate soul.
But I want to see her as a sea witch, right? Yes. She rakes them across the ground. Yes, that's what I want to see.
Yep. But on the whole, she's been a saint.
That's right.
Yeah.
I guess, Ariel and Jasmine and Belle have become mainstream names, but not Ursula.
Ursula, yeah.
Not Scar.
Well, that's, I mean...
name your kid Scar.
Or Captain Hook.
That's right. I wonder if that'll change it, because now Maleficent and Cruella in the live-action movies are good guys. So, so maybe in 20 years.
So we'll have Maleficent.
Yeah, and Cruella. Here's my daughter, Cruella.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. 2036, folks. If you're listening, let us know.
That's right. Yeah.
Or if your name is Cruella, let us know. Yeah. But yeah, Ursula actually becomes a pretty big character. We spend more time with her in this chapter. She shows up at Theodore's house asking the family if they need any washing done. And Theodore can see that she's like wasting away from hunger. And she begs Theodore's mother to keep it a secret because she doesn't want Margaret to find out that she is essentially begging.
Right. Yeah, she's asking if there's washing to do for money. For work.
Yeah,
she's trying to find side gigs. Yeah.
Right. They give her some food, which she eats like a starving person, but she will not be persuaded to bring any home because she doesn't want Margaret to find out, and Margaret would not eat it, charity food. She tries to do the washing for them, but she's so weak that she can't even do that. And so the family gives her some money, and she actually makes Theodore drop it in the road so that she can walk by and find it. So now she can like honestly say that she found it in the road if anybody asks. And Twain says, quote, like the rest of the village, she could tell everyday lies fast enough and without taking out any precautions against fire and brimstone on their account. But this was a new kind of lie, and it had a dangerous look because she hadn't any practice in it. After a week's practice, it wouldn't have given her any trouble. It is the way we are made. I like that.
There's a really tongue-in-cheek because this is Mark Twain. He's a comedian, and obviously his book here is a lot more serious and acid-tongued. But he has this really mean tongue-in-cheek thing. So this again in Theodore's voice is like, I was worried for how would Margaret live. Ursula could not find a coin in the road every day, perhaps not even a second one, right? So he's like, well, this will not stand. Like we can't do this, and we can't do this rigmarole of leaving a coin in the street.
Right. Twain is surprisingly very, very sad. I would say some of his stories are darker than like stuff Poe would write. There's a story called A Dog's Tale. I'm not going to recommend it, actually.
Some people cannot handle anything happening badly to a dog.
Yeah.
Cats are fine.
No, I can't handle that either. Anytime someone I've noticed that in TV and stuff like that. Like I'm on board with no harm to dogs. Like I'm with everybody on that. But you're right. Everybody else is like, oh, it's funny when we swing a cat by its tail and then throw it off camera and then it crashes and meow. I don't like that.
But I'm also okay with when dogs get, because I know it's fake. We talked about this in other shows.
Yes.
Like,
oh no. Okay. That was a bad example. Another one is. It's like, oh, it's a romantic comedy, and the the boy's trying to get good with the girl, but he's so awkward and clumsy, and he accidentally backs out over her cat, and there's a whole scene where they go cat shopping or whatever, or they weekend at Bernie's the cat, and isn't that funny? No, it's not fucking funny.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm fine with it. I'm totally fine in like a fictional story, but like I've become more understanding of other people who are like, I cannot read this, I cannot look at this. When there's a fictional dog who is sad, let alone a fictional dog who is hurt. But yeah, we're gonna have some of that here later on this dog.
Yeah. That's why I won't read Pet Sematary. That's the one Stephen King book I won't read.
But he gets better.
Yeah. I kind of know the story. I kind of know what happens.
He got better.
He got better. But yeah, anyway, so later on, Theodore is really worried about Margaret, and he's walking along just feeling really bad. And then suddenly he feels really good, and he knows that's because Satan is nearby. He's back, and he can feel it in the air. And yeah, Satan appears, and he's now walking with him. And I really, really love how Twain goes to the trouble to tell us how good it feels to be with Satan. And he's not winking. He's not being like, oh, but there was like a hint of brimstone, or, like it just feels like, like hanging out with an angel. Like you feel like physically better, like you're healthier, you're more spry, and you just like, you're filled with good like feelings and thoughts, right?
Yeah, to him, it's like that feeling of Christmas that we talked about. That some people just like have this like, wow, oh, you could tell just the world is different. It's better somehow, and that's really interesting here. I love how Theodore describes it, that he's just walking, and then all of a sudden he feels great. He knows this, and then all of a sudden Satan is literally there, and they just start talking. Like Theodore doesn't remember the start of the conversation, even
it's like they just picked up,
right? Yeah, in his thoughts, the difference between him thinking about Satan and him actually being with Satan is completely thin. There's no difference in that membrane.
Yeah. And yeah, so they're walking along, and they happen upon Ursula sitting under a tree with a stray kitten that she found in the woods. She says it's probably an orphan, so she's going to take it home and take care of it. And Satan says, I understand you are very poor. Why do you want to add another mouth to feed? Why don't you give it to some rich person? Ursula bridled at this and said, perhaps you would like to have it. You must be rich with your fine clothes and quality airs. Then she sniffed and said, give it to the rich. The idea. The rich don't care about anybody but themselves. It's only the poor that have feeling for the poor and help them. The poor and God. God will provide for this kitten. What makes you think so? Ursula's eyes snapped with anger. Because I know it, she said. Not a sparrow falls to the ground without his seeing it. But it falls just the same. What good is seeing it fall? Old Ursula's jaws worked, but she could not get any words out for the moment. She was so horrified. When she got her tongue, she stormed out, Go about your business, you puppy, or I will take a stick to you. And this scares Theodore because he's seen what Satan does to things that annoy him. But Ursula jumps to her feet, and Twain says, just as spry as the young girl she used to be. And he notes that this must be Satan's influence. The cat also hops off her lap and begins to chase a leaf. And Ursula is shocked about this. She says, What's come over it? She said. A while ago it could hardly walk. You have not seen a kitten of that breed before? Said Satan. Ursula was not proposing to be friendly with this mocking stranger, and she gave him an ungentle look and retorted, Who asked you to come here and pester me, I'd like to know? And what do you know about what I've seen and what I haven't seen? You haven't seen a kitten with hair spines on its tongue pointing to the front, have you? No, nor you neither. Well, examine this one and see. Ursula was become pretty spry, but the kitten was sprier, and she could not catch it, and had to give it up. Then Satan said, Give it a name. Maybe it will come. Ursula tried several names, but the kitten was not interested. Call it Agnes. Try that. The creature answered to the name and came. Ursula examined its tongue. Upon my word, it's true, she said. I have not seen this kind of a cat before. Is it yours? No. Then how did you know its name so pat? I guess pat means like perfectly. Or
yeah, exactly. Like you got to pat down. You memorized it, yeah.
Okay, yeah, down pat, yeah. But Satan says, because all cats of that breed are named Agnes, and they will not answer to any other. Ursula was impressed. It is a most wonderful thing. Then a shadow of trouble came into her face, for her superstitions were aroused. I guess that's like the Catholic thing. And she reluctantly put the creature down, saying, I suppose I must let it go. I'm not afraid. No, not exactly that. Though the priest, well, I've heard people, indeed many people, and besides, it is quite well now and can take care of itself. She sighed and turned to go, murmuring, It is such a pretty one, too, and would be such company. And the house is so sad and lonesome these troubled days. Miss Margaret so mournful and just a shadow, and the old master shut up in jail. It seems a pity not to keep it, said Satan. Ursula turned quickly, just as if she was hoping someone would encourage her. Why? She asked wistfully. Because this breed brings luck. Does it? Is it true? Young man, do you know it to be true? How does it bring luck? Well, it brings money anyway. Ursula looked disappointed. Money? A cat bring money, the idea. You could never sell it here. People do not buy cats here. One can't even give them away. She turned to go. I don't mean sell it. I mean have an income from it. This kind is called the lucky cat. Its owner finds 4 silver groschen in his pocket every morning. So now Ursula thinks that Satan is making fun of her again, right? And she straightens up to, give him a piece of her mind. But her hand goes into her pocket and pulls out 4 groschen. Actually 5, right? Because Theodore had given her some.
Right. One pocket has the one that Theodore gives her. The other pocket has this cat's money.
And she apologizes to Satan and thanks him. And again, the narrator says, in her heart, she probably believed it was a witch cat and an agent of the devil. But no matter, it was all the more certain to be able to keep its contract and furnish a daily good living for the family. For in matters of finance, even the piousest of our peasants would have more confidence in an arrangement with the devil than with an archangel. So there, like I was saying right before, that's an established part of the devil lore, is that any magic or gifts you get from him are like the real deal.
Yeah, and so this whole thing is pretty fascinating to me. And so we spend a lot of time and basically make up an entire parable about Ursula. And we go into it and we see her thinking about it. I think it's interesting how the Satan, I want to call him the devil, but he's not. He's young Satan.
Right. I keep on calling him accidentally the devil, but yeah.
The devil's nephew.
Yeah.
So he's getting into theological debates with her. And she's a person with faith and like a faith, and she is quoting ideas from the Bible, like about the sparrow, and this is from Matthew 10:29. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a copper coin, and not one of them falls to the ground apart from your Father's will? Right. So they're so cheap, they're valueless, but God knows all of this. Yeah. And he's debating without quoting scripture back.
Right.
He's like pretending like he doesn't. I'm assuming he's pretending that he doesn't. He knows this, in and out of scripture just as well as she does. But he's pretending like with the face of like this innocent youth that he is just asking legitimate logical questions. And again, he's not playing unfair. He really is like just asking them the way that someone might question any philosophy and just saying, well, shouldn't it be this way? Like why?
Like a child would actually question religion.
Right, exactly. So that's really fascinating to me. So he's not, for instance, like using other parts of it. Well, that's what it says in Matthew, but what does it say in Ecclesiastes or something like that? He's like, let's actually question that and look at that. And that's pretty daring, I think. Again, this is Twain near the end of his life, and it is Satan, but still, like to just be like, well, you're just repeating that because that's what's in the Bible, but what does it actually mean? Right.
And so he calls it out. So rather than the traditional devil being like, oh yes, but what about Matthew 26:20 or whatever,
right?
He's being Twain's mouthpiece and saying, yeah, what does it matter that God notices that the sparrow falls?
Right.
He doesn't do anything about it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what? Yeah. So what does it matter if he notices? So isn't that a version of like this? Isn't that the problem of evil? So he's he's omnipotent but powerless, or he doesn't care, right?
Right.
So which of those things? And so that's super interesting to me. And like she is a legitimately good person. Like we see that she's taking care of Margaret. She loves her, etc. And Margaret, sorry, she loves her, etc. But she is pretty ill-equipped to have this debate with Satan, I think.
She's got that type of faith that is like immovable. Like you can't question it. You can't like theorize, right? Like I'm, I could like hypothesize and pontificate and theorize like till the cows come home about this stuff. Like I'm fascinated by it. But there are some people who I've like run into in my life who they kind of bristle at that. They're just like, no, it's just this, and don't like move my like don't jostle it at all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of some examples, but I don't want to get into them.
Some, like of your in your life, you mean?
Yeah, some videos I saw recently online of people debating scripture and something. I said, let's move on. Yeah. The other thing I find interesting here is that the Satan is talking about this kitten and using that as again a debate about charity and like so you want to give this kitten a worse life than giving it to rich people, just by the very nature of it. Like you can't even afford to take care of yourself.
Right.
And so she sees that as a, I was going to say as a mitzvah, but a Catholic version of that, like she as charity, right? As faith, hope, and charity. She's going to take care of this thing. God will provide, and that's going to be lovely. And he's saying, well, like if you really loved it, you would give it to someone who doesn't care about it as much, but is able to provide for it, right? Like someone who is colder to it, who doesn't see like the fate of this kitten as being the most important thing in the world, right? But probably will give it a better life. And that's kind of what he sees, right? Like he sees that like if everyone lived by his cold rules about what people are like, right, the world would be better off. And he's sort of like Spock, right? He's sort of like this cold, logical way of doing it.
Yeah.
And she takes such offense to that because it's not thinking about humanity. It's not thinking about emotion.
Right. And I love that. That is a trope I also love is that evil cannot comprehend good. I'm not going to yet say whether or not this Satan is evil, but his disconnect with kind of like human emotion and compassion and empathy is fascinating to me. And the way this version, Twain's version, is also fascinating because like you have a devil who is like he's passionate about. He's passionate and he doesn't understand. He's like, I don't understand. Like I gave you all this stuff and I tempted you with all this stuff. What defeated me? Oh, it's love. What is that? I don't even know. Like I've seen stories like that where he's angry that he doesn't get it. Right. And here he doesn't get it and he also doesn't care.
Yeah, but I like that Twain gives him an argument that is not crazy. I mean, so her basic argument is that like if I take care of this kitten and I give him, I don't know, let's just do easy fractions. I give him a fourth of what I of what I take in, and that is like the world to me. Like so if I find a coin to buy him some scraps or something, like that means so much more because I'm suffering to give him that, as opposed to a rich person who wouldn't mind that little scrap of coinage they lose for this cat at all, right? And to give him a better life. So but she's saying like, no, like you don't understand, like love and sacrifice. Like I'm sacrificing for this cat, even if it's giving him a worse life, and that is a better life in my view because it is made with love. And his point of view is not insane. His point of view is like, well, no, that's an objectively worse life for this cat.
Yeah.
I also like that he's the one who gives it the name. He says name it Agnes, which means pure or holy. Apparently, way back when that name was emerging, that was more of a synonym than it is today.
Oh, okay.
So pure and holy being the same thing.
Oh, there we go.
So I don't know. I keep expecting him to be a trickster, and it hasn't shown up yet. We're only on chapter 3, but like he gave it a nice name, and it doesn't seem like, oh, that'll be funny. Like let me give you this and screw you over with this stupid name for this stupid cat. Like it's just a nice name.
Yeah. It's I mean, he is as aloof as like any storybook boy. It's like, but he's not cruel like Peter Pan or something,
Right.
Yeah, he's because Peter Pan would be like, oh yeah, let's tie some like firecrackers to the tail or something.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, so she heads home with the cat, and Theodore thinks how he wishes that he could see Margaret's reaction to this like magic money cat, and because Satan reads his mind, they are suddenly there. And Margaret is actually like surprised, like, how did you get in? Like, and Satan, whom Theodore introduces as Philip Traum, says, oh yeah, we were at the door. The door was open, and we were just waiting for you to turn around and see us. And Theodore knows that's not true, but like he can't explain how they got there, right? And like the following scene, Satan just like continues to kind of like tell these lies, and because of his nature, like everybody in the room just like believes him immediately. Right. And it becomes the reality. It's like, oh, yes, of course, right? My back was turned. Of course, I didn't see you at the door, right?
It's not that dissimilar. I don't know if this is leading anywhere, but it's not that dissimilar from everyone assuming that Father Adolf is telling the truth and that Father Adolf is right because he has the air of being a priest and he has the both like the backing of the church, but also like this history of, oh, you said that you did this great thing once. You I was gonna say killed the devil, but no, you like threw a bottle at him. Yeah. You didn't even hit him, I guess, right? But like, oh, so he can't be lying, right? He can't be messing with us, and everyone seems to accept it except for the boys. So like, there's something off there.
Yeah. So Father Adolf has like maybe like the earthly version of that, like the just kind of like the aura of a priest, and it's like, oh yeah, we have to believe him, right?
An earthly power.
Yeah. And it's the authority that like Father Peter doesn't necessarily have because like because he's a real priest. He's like loving and compassionate, and but Father Adolf is kind of like the church priest,
right?
Type thing, yeah.
Right, with earthly power that went along with that back then in the medieval times of I mean, obviously politics and religion are still mixed up today, but this is like landed politics. Like the church owns land and controls certain towns, and if we have people who are heretics, then we actually lose land and money and political power for real.
Right, and that's why they called it like the they were the second estate, but that's why we call like the rest of us, like the 98%, the third estate back then, right? Because the first was royalty, second was the clergy, and then the third was all of the rest of us plebs. All right. But yeah, so they're chatting up with Margaret, God damn it. With Margaret.
Oh, yeah.
And having a good time.
It must be the same name.
It must be.
Okay.
I'm holding on to the idea that it comes from, like Margareta, Gretchen, Gretel, like all of that stuff. Right. Yeah. But yeah, Theodore notices that Margaret is getting like healthier and more energetic as they talk. And she also immediately takes a liking to Satan, who starts making up all this stuff about himself, right? He's an orphan and he never knew his mama. Quote, but he had an uncle in business down in the tropics, and he was very well off and had a monopoly, and it was from this uncle that he drew his support. The tropics.
Yes. How would you make money as an Austrian in 1702 in the tropics?
I don't know. I don't even think Satan is thinking about that. Like,
I'm being facetious. I think the answer is slavery.
Oh.
I think this is Twain bagging on slavery after the war.
Well, there we go. See, geez, my mind didn't even go there.
Or what do you think? No?
No. That now that you say it, that absolutely must be it. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, he goes on, quote, the very mention of a kind uncle was enough to remind Margaret of her own, and her eyes filled again. She said she hoped their two uncles would meet someday. It made me shudder. Philip said he hoped so too. And that made me shudder again. Ugh. Like, and we're going to see that numerous times. Philip Traum is going to be like, "Oh yeah, you're going to meet my uncle one day," and it's like, "Ah." Yeah. But yeah, he said, "Maybe they will," said Margaret. "Does your uncle travel much?" "Oh yes, he goes all about. He has business everywhere." Then he may come here. I hope he will. I should be so glad to see him. What is his business? Souls. Shoe soles?
That's so silly that I did laugh aloud at that.
Yeah. And then Satan says, yes, he trades in them, buys them.
Yeah, shoe soles.
Suddenly sounding like Meowth. It's like, yeah. She asked where he lived, but Philip generalized on that and merely said it was a foreign country.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a foreigner himself? Was he born there? Well, no. He was an immigrant. Is it a trying climate? For some, yes, but he doesn't mind it. Acclimated, I suppose. Yes. I love all of this. Is it a colony? Yes. What nationality? Mixed, but mainly French. And so that is the language in use? It is the official language. Oh, Twain. So everybody in hell speaks French. It's the official language in hell.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Also, none of this was in the Danica version, by the way. Mm-hmm. Right? Why? This is the most fun thing. Why would you cut that out?
It's too racy.
Yeah. And yeah, so they continue chatting. Satan says he's studying for the ministry, and that makes Margaret like him even more. He then promises to help her so that she can see her uncle in prison. He takes a piece of paper and he scribbles on it and tells her to go to Father Peter's cell at night and show it to the guards, and they'll let her in to see him. And then show them again when she leaves. And Theodore suspects this is like probably like some kind of spell,
right,
to like erase their memories or something.
Mm-hmm. That they look at this. They look at this piece of paper and their minds get scrambled.
Yeah.
But you know, it's interesting. Like, sorry, I keep dwelling on the cat because I like cats, I suppose. But like he's saying like the cat is magic, but the cat doesn't actually do the magic. You know,
right.
the Satan is doing it and saying it's the cat doing it. I don't mean that. That sounds stupid saying it that way, but I don't mean like it's not the cat is not a talisman with powers. Like if she were to get rid of the cat or give it to somebody else, it's not like they would get coins. It's Satan is doing it directly. So but it's so hard to imagine that Theodore has to be like, oh no, this piece of paper is magical.
Right. Yeah. And I like that because Satan is kind of like, he's doing the like he's making Santa real for them. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, this cat is magic, and it'll like lots of good things. Well, oh, look, like they like there's money in your pocket. Where'd that come from? It must be the cat, right? So he's going out of his way, not just to like give them money and goods and stuff, but to like he's painting this like fantasy for them.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, speaking of which, Ursula shows up because remember, she works there. She's the maid. And she announces that supper's ready. She sees Satan and Theodore and she like quickly like takes them aside and whispers to them not to tell Margaret about the cat. And then Theodore is saying his goodbyes to Margaret. But Satan basically invites himself and Theodore to supper. Mm-hmm. At first, Ursula's, worried like there won't be enough food, but Satan takes her aside now and is like, I told you, it's a lucky cat. It will provide. Mm-hmm. And what follows is what must be a parody. It must be a parody of the loaves and fishes.
Okay.
Right? Like they're literally having fish, right? And Ursula,
many fish.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Ursula is surprised to see like another fish in the pan, like after they had finished the one they had.
Yeah, and it's one small little fish, and so they take pains to describe that. They're like, oh, it's a little one. It's very humble, right? But then it keeps getting replaced. Yeah.
Yeah. And suddenly also the pantry is overflowing. There's like meat, poultry, wine, fruit. Quote. Satan talked right along and was entertaining and made the time pass pleasantly and cheerfully, and although he told a good many lies, it was no harm in him, for he was only an angel and did not know any better. They do not know right from wrong. I knew this because I remembered what he had said about it. He accomplished one thing which I was glad of. He got on the good side of Ursula. He praised her to Margaret confidentially, but speaking just as loud enough for Ursula to hear. He said she was a fine woman, and he hoped some day to bring her and his uncle together. Ugh. Very soon, Ursula was mincing and simpering around in a ridiculous girly way and smoothing out her gown and prinking?
It sure does say prinking, yeah.
Prinking at herself like a foolish old hen.
I guess prinking is what foolish old hens do.
Like primping is like kind of, it's like doing her hair and,
Yeah.
It must be, yeah? And all the time pretending she was not hearing what Satan was saying. I was ashamed, for it showed us to be what Satan considered us, a silly race and trivial.
Can we go back to the printing? I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, so.
You found it?
I found a definition of prinking. There are two definitions here from dictionary.com.
Yes.
Number 1, prinking, a traditional term for meticulously grooming or dressing yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Number 2, prinking, a slang term for pre-drinking, having alcoholic drinks at home before going out to a bar or club.
Okay, well, I know which one it actually is. But you've painted a picture, and now all I can see is Ursula taking some pregame sips.
Yeah, we call it pre-gaming. Yeah. I've heard that. So it looks like this is a UK and Irish young person's version of pre-gaming. So they call it prinking or having prinks.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. All right. So she's over there prinking. And it's got Theodore a little bit embarrassed.
Right, yeah, definitely.
And Satan said it was time his uncle was married, for he entertained a great deal and always had company staying with him, and to have a clever woman presiding over the festivities would double the attractions of the place. But your uncle is a gentleman, isn't he? Asked Margaret. Yes, said Satan indifferently. Some even call him a prince out of compliment, but he is not bigoted. To him, personal merit is everything, rank nothing. Okay.
That's really interesting stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Like, where's Twain getting this? I mean, I like it. Like...
Well, that Satan is more concerned with the meritocracy, right? That, Jesus is a hereditary ruler who gets to be the king because he's the son of God, you know? That's really interesting stuff. So that hasn't come up yet in what we've seen, right? Because Milton is like more the same.
That was the first one I thought.
My birthright, right? Like this is I'm entitled to this as much as Jesus is, et cetera, right?
Or even more so because I'm the first, right?
Because you're first, right? Exactly, yeah. So this is a little bit different, right? This is so. I mean, do you think that Twain believes this? It's like this is American style of like, hey, like maybe I'm a prince. People call me that. Maybe I'm entitled to something, but it should be about who most deserves it and who has done the most to earn it.
I am not sure what Twain believes, or even if he believes, because he has that quote. I mean, if it is him, saying faith is believing what you know ain't so. And I think he does believe, and I think he did believe, even this late in his life, but there's a separation from common belief, I think, that is going on. I think he has his own belief, but he kind of mocks like scripture and what the church says as like superstition.
Right.
So maybe his ideas of the devil, I don't even know if he believes in the devil, but but he's playing off of devilly tropes. And I think when he says stuff like this, he's turning some of them on their head, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, there should be a meritocracy, and if there's one on earth, shouldn't there be one in heaven?
Yeah. But yeah, he continues. He says, Margaret thought he must be a most lovable gentleman and much sought after. Satan said he was, and a great help to the clergy. But for him, they would have to go out of business. I like that too.
That sounds like Twain.
Yeah. And that is, okay, actually, we have touched upon two kind of founding principles of modern day Satanism in just this little paragraph, or these couple paragraphs, because that is one of the, what's it called? It's not commandments, but it's like in opposition to the commandments. LaVey made the satanic principles or something like that. And the last one is Satan, like without Satan, the church would be out of business. And another one is, if I remember correctly, LaVeyan Satanism is about like merit. It's about like what you can do. So we'll definitely have to explore that a little later.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, now as they're talking, the cat, Agnes, comes back and licks Theodore's hand, and he wants to like exclaims like, whoa, the cat's tongue is normal. Like, but he can't. And Satan looks over at him and smiles.
You're telling me this cat's not lucky?
It like just, proof that, yeah, this is all like made up by Satan.
Yeah, I was struggling to even imagine what a cat with the spines of its tongue facing the other way would be like.
Okay, what does he actually mean? Because he's talking like the cat's spines. Like so you mean like the little taste buds?
Well, they have hooks on their tongues.
Okay.
So they are spines. Yeah, they have little hooks on their tongue that help them groom.
Okay.
And in other animals that are like when they're bigger, like I think some turtles and stuff like that, the prey can't get out. So if you eat like bugs or shrimp or something or that kind of thing, like they can't crawl their way out because they're basically getting poked with all these spines that are facing inward. Yeah. But cats use it mostly to groom.
Right. And okay, so and usually the spikes are pointed inward, and Satan made this fantasy cat up with the spikes pointing outward.
Yeah, he made Ursula see it that way, I guess.
Right. Exactly. Right. But Theodore finds out. It's like, no, that was all a dream, or that was all a figment. But he can't say anything.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, so now it's dark, and Margaret makes up a basket of food to take to the jail. Satan and Theodore are walking home, and Theodore thinks how he would like to see the inside of a jail, and suddenly they're there, right? Because Satan read his mind again. They're in the torture chamber, no less, and they witness a guy getting tortured, like with splinters being put under his nails.
Gross.
Yeah, and that's too much for Theodore. He has to leave. This is spirit, show me no more. This is Scrooge, type thing. So yeah, they're walking home again, and Theodore mentions that the torture was a brutal thing, to which Satan responds, "No, it was a human thing. You should not insult the brutes by such a misuse of that word. They have not deserved it." And he went on talking like that. "It is like your paltry race, always lying, always claiming virtues which it hasn't got, always denying them to the higher animals, capital H, capital A, higher animals, which alone possesses them. No brute ever does a cruel thing. That is the monopoly of the snob with the moral sense. When a brute inflicts pain, he does it innocently. It is not wrong. For him, there is no such thing as wrong, and he does not inflict pain for the pleasure of inflicting it. Only man does that, inspired by that mongrel moral sense of his, a sense whose function is to distinguish between right and wrong, with a liberty to choose which of them he will do. Now, what advantage can he get out of that? He is always choosing, and in 9 cases out of 10, he prefers the wrong. There shouldn't be any wrong, and without the moral sense, there couldn't be any. And yet, he is such an unreasoning creature that he is not able to perceive that the moral sense degrades him to the bottom layer of animated beings and is a shameful possession. Then he takes him to a little French village and shows him workers toiling in a factory, and he says, "It is some more moral sense. The proprietors are rich and very holy, but the wage they pay these poor brothers and sisters of theirs is only enough to keep them from dropping dead with hunger. The work hours are 15 per day, winter and summer, from 5 in the morning till 8 at night, little children and all, and they walk to and from the pigsties which they inhabit 4 miles each way, through mud and slush, rain, snow, sleet and storm, daily, year in and year out. They get 4 hours of sleep. They kennel together 3 families in a room, in unimaginable filth and stench, and disease comes, and they die off like flies. Have they committed a crime, these poor mangy things? No. Have they offended the priest? No. They are his pets. They fatten him with their farthings, or he would have to work for his living. What have they done, that they are punished so? Nothing at all, except getting themselves born into your foolish race. You have seen how they treat a misdoer there in the jail. Now you see how they treat the innocent and the worthy. Is your race logical? Are these ill-smelling innocents better off than that heretic? Indeed, no. His punishment is trivial compared with theirs. They broke him on the wheel and mashed him to rags and pulp after we left, and he is dead now and free of your precious race. But these poor slaves here, why, they have been dying for years, and some of them will not escape from life for years to come. It is the moral sense which teaches the factory proprietors the difference between right and wrong. You perceive the result. They think themselves better than dogs. You are such an illogical, unreasoning race, and paltry. Unspeakably. Then he dropped all seriousness and overstrained himself making fun of us, and deriding our pride in our warlike deeds, our great heroes, our imperishable fames, our mighty kings, our ancient aristocracies, our venerable history, and laughed till it was enough to make a person sick to hear him. And finally he sobered a little and said, "But after all, it is not ridiculous. There is a sort of pathos about it when one remembers how few are your days, how childish your pomps, and what shadows you are." Whew. So now we see what he means when he talks about the moral sense in that way. What do you think of all of this?
I think it's really interesting, like this kind of like takedown of your entire worldview, right? Like everything you think is wrong, everything they teach you in the schools and the churches in your house is incorrect. It's all backwards. I could see this being something that you need to be basically Theodore's age to be open to, right? Like before you've gotten too far ahead of really swallowing it all down and believing it.
Right. Then you'd be like Ursula, who's like, you can't move.
Right,
you can't change your mind. Yeah.
Or perhaps you need to be Twain's age, and like at the end of it and be like, oh my gosh, like it's taken me 70 or 80 years to see it's all been bullshit. Like, like it's all tied together. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that like happened to me when I started reading economics and like started reading about it's all tied together, race and sociology and class, and that's all I could see now. And so like he's like doing this to young Theodore just at the right age, I think. And, like some people are like that. Again, we've talked about like Nietzsche, right? And like Nietzsche says this, and like, oh, that opens my eyes, and everything's connected. Everything is Nietzsche. You know?
Yeah. When I was uninterested in politics and I avoided it and didn't want to pay attention to it at all. That's like I had this idea like distantly that it was, this respected arena where people, debated and worked things out and they were and they had those positions because they were smarter than us and more just than us and they deserved those positions. And as soon as I like looked a little bit into it, it the same thing happened. I was like, these are all like fucking children and they're all selfish and like just throwing toys at each other and it like really, really kind of like let me down. I was like,
and
oh
it's the
God.
cause
like,
every single thing that's wrong in the world can be traced back to this idea. So for Satan, it's like every single thing in the world, or for Theodore, can be traced down to the difference between people and animals. And that the main problem is that people don't think that they're animals, and that's really, really fascinating. I think in 3 or 4 pages, I think Satan is able to put forth that thesis in a pretty convincing way.
Yes, yeah. And that's another. Oh yes, okay. I forgot. That's another LaVeyan satanic principle. Is man is an animal, and he's the worst animal of all because he has because of of his mind. Yeah. So then we're walking home again. We keep on like walking home and then stopping and then walking home again.
Oh well, let me talk about some of that actually. About some of this teleporting around. So yeah, Satan is like bringing Theodore, like teleporting him a little bit, which we've seen with Faust and Mephistopheles,
and Scrooge, and
But like that the devil has these powers to do. But Theodore is also kind of aware of it and sort of asking, like, oh, geez, how did this happen? And he's like, and suddenly we were in this room and we must have gone through the wall or down a chimney, he mentions at one point. He's like, but I don't know what it was, but maybe it went down the chimney. So I started to look into this about where did this come from? Because now we think that Santa Claus coming down the chimney, and that's about it. And maybe Krampus coming down, but we see Krampus coming down because of Santa. Because of Santa, right? He's the opposite of Santa.
Yeah.
So I did find midtownsweeps.com, which is a chimney service. A chimney sweeps, a modern swimney cheaps. Let me say it again.
A modern
swimney cheap. Please let me say it again, please. No, so they're modern swimney cheaps. Where you could book them to clean your chimney.
Oh, really?
Yes, but they also have this page that is the history of Santa coming down the chimney. So this is where I found some of this. So there is a little bit of that with like St. Nicholas throwing presents down the chimney, but he didn't go down the chimney himself.
Right. If I remember correctly, the actual St. Nicholas helped out a family. Like their 3 daughters like didn't have enough money for a dowry, and he like tossed money into the window or the chimney or something like that.
Yeah. He would throw them through any hole he could throw. I don't mean to say it that way, but
right.
any pore in the that was open, he would throw them down. Yeah. So then Washington Irving apparently is the one who says that Santa Claus specifically comes down the chimney. So he drops them down the chimney. And then there's the this is from St. Nicholas, which we call 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, that poem, by Clement Clark Moore. So that we have explicitly like being on the rooftops, etc., and all of that. But okay, so I'm just reading from midtownsweeps.com, which I have not independently verified. But why the chimney? Why not the front door? To understand, we need to look at medieval European folklore. During the Middle Ages, people believed in supernatural beings like witches and goblins who would enter homes through walls. Books like the infamous Malleus Maleficarum.
Yes, the Hammer of Witches.
What's called the Hammer of Witches?
Yeah, that's what it means, yeah.
Oh, of course, Malleus Hammer. Great.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to talk about that, yeah.
Oh, good. So this is from 1486 by Heinrich Kramer. So Kramer writes that the Malleus Maleficarum attempted to dispel such fears by claiming that witches climb down chimneys instead of using magic. So the idea is like, no, your walls can keep you safe. So do not fear. They can't just come through your walls. That's crazy. They have to come down the chimney. And so that way you can like defend yourself against the chimney and keep like a fire going. Or if they do come in, you know where they're coming from. So it was this way of like dispelling our fears that that they can do anything. No. They can only do this one specific thing. Evil beings come down the chimney.
Giving the vampire his limits. I like that. Like it's like no. Witches are only
right.
But honestly, okay, Keenan, you're alone in your home.
Yep.
You're in Salem, right? And you're just sitting, you're reading the Bible probably because you're a good pious soul.
And it's the only book you own.
And a witch comes to visit you. Would you rather have her like ethereally like appear through the wall, or do you want her like skittering down the chimney like some kind of lizard?
Well, I don't want her opening the door and testing me if I could tell whether she's a Dybbuk or not, and doing riddles. If she's gonna come in and kill me, just come in and kill me.
Yeah,
just get it over.
Just get it over with.
Yeah, I guess I would rather her just come in through the walls, just kill me already.
It's like Galadriel, just like appear, and it's like, whoa, you're so majestic, and it's like, yeah.
I heard an interview with Stephen King today, talking about, much like you've talked about, like wanting to know about the devil because it scared you, and trying to master that. He was talking about how, to stay, it would help him stay safe by knowing about evil and to think through evil. So that was his way of staying safe, as well as keeping all of his feet under the covers. Because if you had one foot out from under the cover, of course, the boogeyman could pull you down under the bed.
Yes, that is not even. I mean, that's just fact. Everybody knows that. Except poor Johnny, who got eaten last month. I mean,
right.
Didn't have that foot under the cover.
Yeah, exactly. I just love that even Stephen King remembers that feeling.
Yeah. But yeah, so I really like this examination of the moral sense. And we are going to get a little bit of it again in Letters from the Earth, if I remember. Okay. This one examines it thoroughly, but it is mentioned in Letters from the Earth.
Oh, good. But that seems to be something that Twain is kind of coining, like moral capital M, sense capital S.
Yeah. And like talking about like that's why like lions and tigers can kill and it's not sinning.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it is a little like, at the end of Milton, when paradise has fallen, right? Like all of a sudden animals are eating each other, and they see the humans like see this as terrible and sad, like they're starting to completely change, but it's not the same thing as the animals don't know of sin still.
Right. Yeah.
But all of a sudden animals who used to hang out and just be with each other, and no one would eat anything. No one would eat anything but fruit, I guess. Yeah. And what a lot of fruit, yeah. But that the people see that as sad, but that the animals just are animals.
Yeah.
They're completely unmoved by it.
Yeah. And Twain's saying it's like, no, they're like even in Eden they were eating. Even in Eden they were eating each other. Because that's just how it is. Yeah. But yeah, so then they're walking home again, and Seppi runs up to meet them, and he's so excited to see Satan. He kind of like sensed that he's back. And he gets up to them, and he mentions that someone in the village has disappeared. Hans Oppert, the village loafer. We don't have those anymore. Village loafers.
No, I don't think that we do. So I guess this is some kind of roustabout, someone who doesn't have steady work, gets into fights, I'm guessing, is drunk all the time.
Yeah.
But he lives in this village, so they kind of claim him, but they kind of don't, and everybody knows him and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he is he's a village loafer, which is dangerous because Satan's uncle sells shoe soles.
Gotta be careful.
But let's see if he gets this. Yeah. Right. Let's see if he gets a hand on this shoe sole.
Yep.
Loafer sole.
But yeah, nobody has seen him since he has done that brutal thing. Is what Seppi says, and Satan's ears perk up at the mention of brutal, and Seppi explains that this guy Hans is always beating his dog, and then right before he disappeared, he managed to hit the dog so hard upside the head that the dog's eye was dislodged. And as he's retelling the story, he's getting more and more upset, and he calls Hans a heartless brute, to which Satan responds, "There is that misused word again, that shabby slander. Brutes do not act like that, but only men." And Seppi responds, well, it was inhuman anyway. No, it wasn't, Seppi. It was human, quite distinctly human. It is not pleasant to hear you libel the higher animals by attributing to them dispositions which they are free from and which are found nowhere but in the human heart. None of the higher animals is tainted with the disease called the moral sense. Purify your language, Seppi. Drop those lying phrases out of it. And yeah, as they're talking, the dog actually shows up. It comes along, and it looks rough.
In what ways does it look rough? Do you want to tell the folks at home?
as I finished saying it, I realized
how rough was it?
it's so dumb. I think you even caught it a little bit before me. Oh God. But no. It looks rough. Because like it's all messed up. It's been beaten upside the head, and its eye is hanging out.
Got any more puns for?
No. I wasn't even meaning to make it. Yeah.
It's interesting. Like, so I know that this is an adult writing this, right? This is Mark Twain writing this, but it is interesting that, like, from the point of view of a boy, you know, not a teenager yet, even a boy,
right,
in this small village, that like. This is an eye out of its socket, hanging from its nerves.
Yeah,
and the you know, they're both like, oh, that really sucks. But just the kind of life that they live, where they're like, I've never heard of that. I didn't know that was possible. You know, I think if you were to tell like an 11-year-old that today, they might be like, what? No, that's not a
that doesn't happen. Yeah,
right, that doesn't happen. Right. And so Seppi is able to tell this to Theodore, and Theodore's like, yeah, I believe it. And then there it is. Yeah, just as we were told, this dog beaten so hard its eye is popped out,
and not. And like so familiar with the. I mean, like back then we were just like we were closer to like this kind of stuff,
right?
Right. We're so much more separated now. But and to see it, and not to be like, ew, oh my God, ew. They're like, they're like really, really like sorry for this dog,
right?
And so actually, the dog walks right up to Satan, who puts his eye back in. And I imagine, like, I mean, Twain doesn't specify, but I imagine. He means magically, like heals it, right? Yeah,
like putting his hand over his eye and then taking it away, and the eye's better.
Yeah. And then Satan begins talking to it in dog language. Quote, he says his master was drunk. Yes, he was, said we. And an hour later he fell over the precipice there beyond the cliff pasture. We know the place. It is 3 miles from here. And the dog has been often to the village begging people to go there, but he was only driven away and not listened to. We remembered it, but hadn't understood what he wanted. He only wanted to help the man who had misused him. And he thought only of that, and has had no food nor sought any. He has watched by his master 2 nights. What do you think of your race? Is heaven reserved for it? And this dog ruled out, as your teachers tell you? Can your race add anything to this dog's stock of morals and magnanimities? He spoke to the creature, who jumped up, eager and happy, and apparently ready for orders, and impatient to execute them. Get some men. Go with the dog. He will show you that carrion. And take a priest along to arrange about insurance, for death is near. And with that, Satan vanishes. And the boys, start running into town to get everyone to go help this guy. Again, what do you think of this speech by Satan? Like basically saying that this dog deserves heaven more than people do.
It's a really interesting chapter to place so much of the morality around animals. Maybe because that's what the kids can understand, but it also might be this like post-Darwin, world that Twain is living in, and like trying to reconcile the natural world as we understand it with human morality. But these little parables, one about the cat and then one about this dog who is doing what we might consider humane service, right? Like he is in some ways, like, it's really sad because he's going back to this master who beats him, which I think Satan might see. The way that I thought of it at first is going to be like Satan's going to see this as like human's relationship with God, who punishes man and apparently looks down at man and doesn't do anything for man, but man keeps going back to him. But instead, it's not that. It's about the dog having more humanity than the people,
right?
And being okay, like, hey, this guy beats me, but he's a human being, and I'm going to go and be with him and be loyal to him.
Yeah. And like unconditionally loyal and trying to get other people to go save him. Yeah. But the boys get everyone and they go out and they find this guy just as he's dying. The priest actually refuses to give him the sacraments.
I wasn't sure why that was.
I don't know either.
They don't like him, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like they treat the dog a little bit like we were saying Margaret being treated when she doesn't have the money from her uncle. Right. Like, just like, oh, this dog is miserable. I don't want anything to do with this dog.
We're going to catch misery from it.
Yeah. Yeah, so like maybe we'll put out some food for him, or like let him, look at our scraps, but that's not what he's interested in. But we're not going to follow him places or care about this person because I mean, that would be today, maybe in this time too. Like the first thing you would think about, like the dog is like without its owner that it spends 24 hours a day with, right? And it's like, hey, like I think everyone would be like, oh, he's trying to show us where the man is.
Yeah, I think the value of I think we've said this before, but like the value of animal life has like spiked very, very recently, and we care so much more about animals than we did. I mean, even back in like Tom and Huck's time, where I think they would like I remember seeing like a stage play where Huck was talking about like like getting a cat like in a bag and like swinging it around like at a cemetery for something or something.
Yep. Yeah. Yes. Tom has a cat. And there's a fight over who gets to keep the dead cat. So like they find a dead cat, and Tom's like, "That's my dead cat," and that's kind of the joke of it. It's like they're fighting over it as if it were its pet, but no, this is a dead cat that they found, and they get to play with it as a toy because they don't got nothing but the Bible. So yeah, what are we gonna do? So what do you in the future think we should be doing? Yeah, we don't got iPads, we don't have boppets, we got nothing.
Yeah, we got iCat. That's what we play with.
Yeah, so it's not like Tom and Huck are incapable of loving animals because they also have pets and stuff like that. Right. But yeah, there's like, oh, this one's dead. Well,
Yeah, there's a general like apathy to like the lives of animals back then.
Yeah, like we read it as apathy, but like they're farm people as well, and they sort of understand the nature of life much more than we do.
Yeah,
we're talking about like some people. I'm not judging these people at all. Like, but some people won't watch a movie or read a book if there's a fictional animal who's being harmed, and like if they hear about a real animal. Certain real animals, not food animals, like being hurt, it'll ruin their week. Like, oh, wow, I saw a dog get hit by a car, and they'll like ruin their whole. Yeah. Like just hearing that story will ruin their week.
I think I'm one of those people. Like I've stayed on TikTok for like more swipes than I was like, oh, just one more swipe, and then I'll see something and I'll be like, I did not need to see that.
I'm glad I don't get those types of videos. That's awful.
Yeah. And that's
like I'm not trying to say like I'm above that. I don't seek out terrible videos.
No, I don't either. But like that's the insidiousness of the algorithm because then it shows up and you can't turn away and you're like, oh no, like I hate this and the algorithm is like, oh, you stayed on that video. I guess you want more. Blech. Yeah. Well. But yeah, so they bury the guy right there. Like without a funeral.
No coffin. Yeah.
No coffin, anything like that. And the only like mourner that he has is the dog who licks the guy's dead face. And then Seppi decides to take the dog home, and he reflects that even without the funeral and the last rites and all that, maybe God will forgive the guy since the dog did. And that's like the final like word of the chapter.
Right. Even if he didn't get his sacraments. Yeah, which is interesting because and earlier Theodore says this really interesting thing as well, which is if the priest had been there an hour earlier, which means if Satan and them had found the dog an hour earlier, like all this stuff, the butterfly effect of that. But if they had found the man an hour earlier, the priest could have given him his sacraments, and that he would be going to heaven instead of going down to low for soul hell with the devil.
Right.
And so Theodore is so shaken by that. He's like, wow, like that's so capricious, like the difference between an hour. And so he's like, well, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to live I know the value of an hour now. Which, this being chapter 3, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
If that changes. But I think that is very interesting, like this brush with this and like the cruelty of God in some ways of like the difference between an hour and because someone didn't say some words over you, etc., which is how he's reading it, right?
Yeah.
That like someone is condemned to hell forever.
Yeah.
It's totally not his fault, right? And like Theodore being so shaken by that and maybe beginning to see like both of these boys, I guess, both Seppi and Theodore, but getting to see the seams of like that doesn't quite make sense. That's like what they've been teaching us, but that's not moral.
And I like Twain kind of like leaking in through that, and you get the sense that he doesn't believe that either. He's kind of like calling out that idea that like priests are the gatekeepers of heaven, and if they don't give you sacraments, or if they don't do the sacraments, or if they don't give you the sacraments, or if they like excommunicate you, then like they have a say, whether or not you go to heaven or not. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's 7 equal sacraments, but he didn't get married, obviously.
Right.
Like, so he doesn't have a wife in this, but like, oh, that one's fine, but it's the last rites that are the one that get you to heaven.
Right. Yeah,
so there's 7 equal, but there's only one that matters.
Some are more equal than others.
Right. Some are more equal than others. Right.
But yeah, what did we think? Okay, so what did we think of this chapter, and how do we think it's gonna shake out? What do we think is gonna happen?
No idea what's gonna happen. But I was really fascinated by these really interesting philosophical questions that are here. I was surprised by that, how much meat there is in this one chapter of this book that, again, I've never heard of until you said to read it. So
yeah. Do you think, and I can play this game too because I've only read the fraud version. I haven't read this one. Mm-hmm. Do you think Satan's eventually going to kind of like take the mask off and be like, aha, this was all, I was guiding you. This was my evil thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep waiting for him to turn out to be evil. Instead, he turns out to be a little bit like John Bunyan's Mr. Worldly Wise Man from Pilgrim's Progress, who's just like, I'm just here. I'm trying to do the right thing without magic, without religion in this, and isn't that so bad? I don't know.
Yeah, I think bad things are going to keep happening, but I don't think he's going to like intentionally. I think he's honest. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, having not read the fraud version with this astronomer.
Astrologer,
yeah. I'm wondering, is the astrologer going to get away with it? Is he going to successfully steal the crown jewels, or will Sherlock Holmes trap him back in the castle and have a nice moral, tidy ending to it?
So there is a fate that the astrologer meets in the fraud version. Mm-hmm. I wonder if Danica was so fucking lazy that if okay, it's a crazy fate that he meets.
All right.
If Father Adolf gets punished in this exact same way,
okay,
I'm going to be like, Danica, you didn't do anything. You just replaced the name.
Okay, good. I'm excited.
But I cannot conceive of Father Adolf being punished in this. It's absolutely bananas.
Okay, good. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. All right, but folks, this has been another episode of The Devil's Details. I've been Lester Ryan Clark. You can summon me on all the socials as Lester Ryan Clark.
And I've been Keenan Diaz, and you can invoke me on Letterboxd or Instagram as Howdy Keenan.
Yeah, find more of our shows and other really cool podcasts at truestory.fm, or feel free to drop us a message at bananaforscalemail, that's MAIL, @gmail.com. We got our Facebook listener group, Banana for Scale. That's a community for all of our shows, including this one. It's a private group, but just request to join and we'll let you into the Infernal family. If you want more, consider joining us at truestory.fm/join and look for Banana for Scale. That's us. You get bonus episodes of all our shows, access to our Discord, and you get your episodes a week early and ad-free. Pretty cool, just $5. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? We're not even asking for your souls. Just give us a 5 pentagram rating on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to our show. that and sharing the show by word of mouth or on social media helps our little podcast grow and find more cool people like you. All right, folks, until next week, love and hisses. Mwah. Mwah.